Section 9.
Of Who is Who.
This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recorded by Sean McGahey,
Isabella Denton,
and Laurie Ann Walden.
OPQ, Who Was Who? By Irwin L. Gordon. O. O'Connell, Dan, said to have been an Irishman, probably born in Dublin, raised Cain in Dublin, repealed in Dublin, Dublined in Dublin, died in Dublin. Tradition connects his name with the early stages of the Home Rule Bill. Ambition, Ireland south of Ulster. Recreation, oratory. Address, Dublin. Clubs, Dublin. Favorite color, green.
O'Grady, Sweet Rosie, also of Ireland, long dead but still bragged about.
Orange, William Ove, also of Ireland. He was the man who made it a crime to wear the color named after him on the 17th of March. See St. Patrick.
Orpheus, lutist. When a young man he was given a lute, practiced in obscurity, and later appeared before large audiences. Made several successful concert tours. Married Eurydice. Spent a happy honeymoon. The bride did not wear shoes. She was bitten by a serpent. She died. Orpheus descended to the abode of old Nick, and charmed him with some Grecian ragtime. Nick promised to return the lady if Orpheus would promise to get out of the place without looking around to see what other respectable people were there. Orpheus started for the door. He heard familiar voices and rubbered. That ended the contract. And for all the editor has been able to ascertain, Eurydice is there to this day.
Ostler, William, a doctor who was knighted for proposing that all fossils should be ostlerized. Ambition, to murder the men who got that story into print. Recreation, medicine. Address, Oxford. Epitaph, he practised, but not what he preached.
Othello, of Venice. Born in Morocco. Went to Venice and fell in love with one Desdemona, an Italian girl. They were married. Mrs. Othello lost one of her favorite handkerchiefs, and was killed by her enraged husband. Shakespeare, of England, a writer, heard of the incident, and made some money out of it.
P. Paderewski, Ignace, Jan, another farewell concert-giver, who wore long red hair, a soulful expression, insured his fingers, and broke pianos.
Pallas, a Grecian goddess who was metamorphosed into a raven perch by Poe.
Pan, monstrosity, musical instrument maker, friend of poets. Born half a man and half a goat. Took after the latter. Studied music under the old masters, and out-fluted Apollo. Was also a sheep fancier. Fathered fife and drum corps. Ambition, a pair of shoes or a goat's appetite. Recreation, hunting and falling in love. Address, Greece. Clubs, musical.
Pan, Peter, a little fellow who was a delightful actress, believed in fairies and crowded houses in England and the United States.
Pankhurst, Mrs. A celebrated Englishwoman who terrorized a government, starved herself, smashed windows, blew up things, and made speeches for a living. Girlhood spent in developing muscle, pluck, and theories. She appeared before the public and declared that the liquor traffic would be terminated when women voted. Spent years of her life wondering why the men would not give them the privilege. Never cared for the ministry, although she was a very good woman. Ambition, a woman king. Votes for women in the Union Jack. Recreation, planning the next. Publications, from the cradle to the ballot. Windows I have smashed. Address, London, care of Scotland Yard.
Pankhurst, Sylvia. A little Pankhurst who helps Mamma break things.
Panza, Sancho, Don Quixote's interlocutor and stable boss.
Paris, son of the king of Tyre, who ran away with another man's wife named Helen. A city in France has also been named to do him honor.
Parnell, C.S., father of the downfall of English ministries and Ulster. Born of Irish parents. First man to successfully explode dynamite in Parliament without being executed. Ambition, an Ulsterless Ireland, a Conservatively England. Address, close to the English ministry. Epitaph, the bills men introduced live after them.
Parsifal, the longest-winded singer who ever stepped on an opera stage.
Pasteur, doctor, discoverer, experimented with mad dogs until he came to the conclusion that they should be shot or chained. A subway station in Paris has been named after him.
Patrick, saint, a Scotchman who drove all the snakes out of Ireland, with the exception of those in bottles. Also introduced the brogue and the shamrock into the Emerald Isle.
Pat, also of Ireland. At an early stage he emigrated to the United States. There he took up the hod-carrying business, went on the stage and set the world laughing. He also entered politics, captured the American police force, and together with his brothers in Parliament, rules Great Britain and the United States.
Patty, Adelina, a singer who said au revoir but not goodbye. Epitaph, cum grano salis.
Pear, the man who names most of the London buses and keeps the people of England clean for a penny a week. His business is international, with the exception of Glasgow and Italy. Editor's note: this is not an advertisement. The editor does not use soap.
Peary, Captain Robert E., explorer who said he reached the North Pole and convinced a few people, was also forced to write a book and lecture. Publications: How Dr. Cook Almost Got Ahead of Me. Ambition: that a certain man had not made him get all the way there the last time. Grave: the Cook incident.
Penn, William, a man whose picture appears on all Quaker Oats boxes. An Englishman who left his country, bought Pennsylvania, built the slow old town of Philadelphia, and hung up the American Liberty Bell.
Pericles, of Athens, political boss, philosopher, and general. Secured his reputation through brains, a voice, and a well-oiled political machine. Started the golden age of Greece with a loud blast of the horn of plenty.
Peter, no relation to the following. He introduced the art of chocolate making into Switzerland and the art of eating it into America. Ambition: more children and people with sweet teeth.
Peter, saint, a fine old bearded saint who is an excellent bookkeeper and a detester of roosters. A church in Rome has taken his name. Ambition, a new key. Recreation, oiling hinges. Address, golden gates.
Pharaoh, of Egypt, benefactor of Moses and Joseph. Was also the father of Pharaoh's daughter. Built a few pyramids, cigarette factories, and made a handsome mummy.
Philip II, a king of Spain who, with an armada to press his suit, endeavored to marry a queen of England. Both the suit and the armada were left in the Bay of Biscay, and the queen an old maid. Ambition: to the Inquisition with all Englishmen. Motto: faint heart never won fair lady. Address: Spain.
Pinot, Edward, discoverer of the only thing which would have saved your hair.
Pinkham, Lydia, of vegetable compound fame. Made a fortune out of advertisements, little boxes of pills, and women who believed what they read.
Piper, Peter, famous picker of pickled peppers. Also held accounts against many people. Caused considerable worry to his creditors.
Pittman, Isaac, discovered a method of making political speakers more careful of what they said. His invention has secured wealthy husbands for many a pretty and poor stenographer.
Plutarch, the only man who had more lives than a cat.
Pluto, boss of the underworld until Old Nick got on the job. Also, the manufacturer of a morning beverage.
Pluvius, E., was the fellow who always made it rain when you wanted to wear your new hat or go to a ball game.
Poe, Ed A., an American poet who specialized in ravens and cold chills.
Poincaré, Raymond, a Frenchman who has a splendid opportunity to get out of this book.
Pollux, Lita's other twin,